How to stop getting triggered. In this video, I'm going to share with you what does it mean to get triggered and how can we stop reacting, and actually how can we actually use our triggers into emotional growth and even healing. I'm going to be annoying. The question actually isn't how to stop getting triggered, and it's also not about how do we manage our triggers, how to avoid getting triggered. It's actually taking a new perspective on this concept of being triggered. So we have to start with understanding triggers. I learned this from Dr. Gabor Mate, Idol. You might know him. So he talks about how this concept of getting triggered actually comes from weaponry. So I'm not a gun person, I'm like anti-weapons, but we all know, a gun. Let me see if I can find something to demo this. Okay, so a lighter, right? Lighter has a trigger. So the concept of getting triggered is, right, when something, someone, some situation, right, pulls our trigger, something happens. We react. So in this video that I watched of Dr. Gabor Mate kind of explaining this and also giving us a different perspective is that yes, the trigger, right, that's one part of a lighter. We also have to consider all the other parts that are necessary. So when I pull this trigger, something happens, like a fire, a reaction. So if we use the gun analogy, right, there are internal workings of the gun. Like there's gunpowder, there's the bullets, there's the trigger. Like in this lighter, right, there's like the fuel, there's the flint, there's a spinning thing, there's like this metal thing, there's a switch, right? There's all these other parts. So it's not just who or what pulls your trigger. That's only one part of it. But you have to ask yourself, who is providing the fuel? So when something and someone pulls a trigger, there's a reaction, there's a firing. And what will happen if we disarmed ourselves, right? Because these bullets, where I'm trying to bring us, it's inside of us. So it's not just what and who pulls the trigger. It's not just my annoying partner. It's not just like my emotionally immature mother. It's not just like the economy. That's what's making me anxious, upset, angry. We have to ask ourselves, what inside of me that I'm responsible for, that I might not be aware of, that's part of this firing, this reaction process. So of course, there's a lot of people that are dealing with the same trigger, like getting feedback, getting criticism, right? When someone maybe cuts them off in traffic. So there's the same similar things and situation and people and actions that pulls our trigger. And we have all different reaction patterns that we have to become aware of. So instead of trying to get rid of our triggers, and even for us to stop getting triggered, it's more so, how can we stop reacting even though we're being triggered? And this is the missing piece to my own transformation. Like, a lot of things used to really bother me, and it would trigger me, and I feel anxious, I feel guilty, I feel defensive, I get angry. Whereas now, I am a lot less triggerable. Even though things, pull my trigger, I don't react in my old emotional patterns. And same for my students when they understand that, oh my gosh, like the outside, the person, the event, that's only half of this equation. I have to become aware. What is going on inside of me? What is my past conditioning that creates such a firing? And what are the uncomfortable feelings I might be trying to avoid? Okay, now this is the most exciting part I've been waiting to share with you. This is my trigger to emotional growth process. Okay. So most people who are struggling with these patterns, a lot of these are inherited emotional patterns that has been running in our families for generations. They go from trigger to reaction, right? Like literally it happens so fast and they react. And usually that reaction causes harm to themselves, creates repeating negative emotional energies, and also it quite often creates harm to the relationship, breaks trust, right? And it can even harm the other person involved when we react. Whether it's getting defensive, it's getting angry, it's shutting down, right? It's even like people pleasing and maybe lying and manipulating. We all have our patterns. Instead, we need to practice pausing, and then we need to go inside. So, right, this is going to take some time, conscious effort, practice for us to retrain this pattern. And it's going to be very hard, right, at first for us to pause, create that gap. We need to create a gap between trigger and reaction. And also, right, meet ourselves with gentleness, being kind to yourself through this process. And then once you create that pause, here's what you do next. Go inside, connect with the body, the feelings. And here are some curious questions to ask yourself. What am I feeling right now? What did this situation, what did this person, what is their behavior or what they said? And sometimes it's what they didn't say, what they didn't do that triggered me. And what is my inner emotional things that are showing up for me? And this is personal. This is very personal. And now here's the gentle parenting. This is the inner child healing work. How old do I feel right now? And how can I be gentle with this younger part that's come out? Right? What are they feeling? Have they felt this way before? What does the situation remind us of? And what do they need? What do we need right now? What do we want right now? And how can we move through the situation with calm, with patience, understanding? And is there anything we need to do? Is there anything we need to say to ourselves, to the other people, the other person involved? So these are the same steps that I take when I get triggered. And these are the same steps I teach my students and they go through. And this is actually how we can transform our triggers, not something bad, not something for us to get rid of, not, something that we blame other people, events. It's also now we can use it for us to grow, for us to learn, and even for us to reparent and heal that wounded inner child. Here are some signs that this hard work is paying off. You're going to begin noticing that you're still getting triggered, but you're aware of it now. You're aware as you're getting triggered, and you're aware of all the reactive patterns that's going on inside. So you're creating that gap between trigger instead of reaction. It's now trigger, pause, going through all those steps, and then responding. You're going to find yourself becoming more resilient. Things that used to trigger you, they won't trigger you as much, not as intense, and you're not dysregulated for as long time. And you're going to get to the point where you're even going to kind of celebrate and feel proud of yourself when what used to trigger you actually doesn't really evoke a reaction in you anymore. You're going to notice more moments of peace, contentment, and less anxiety, guilt, insecurity, like needing to defend yourself all the time. And you're really shifting. You're really shifting into more emotionally mature ways of operating in the world, right? And it's very freeing to no longer always needing to be right or wrong, right? No longer always needing to prove yourself, and just being at peace with oneself, and also knowing clearly when I need to step in, say something, do something. Boundaries comes in when that it's just for me to learn from this reaction, regulate my emotions, and actually that's it. There's nothing I need to do. So please comment and share who and what triggers you the most. And also share in the comments. I try to read all the comments as you're going through these new steps I taught you. Rewatch that part of the video. Please let me know how things have been changing and shifting as you're using my trigger to emotional growth process. Like always, thank you for being here. Thank you for learning with me. And I'm so proud of you. And it'll help the channel a lot if you like this video, subscribe. we can really get this emotional wisdom out there. Because we're really trying to create a calmer and kinder world. And I can't do this without you.